What's up, 7-footers? It's Jarod and Jenna back here with the latest and hottest NBA headlines.
NBA playoffs. We're in a
It is?
makeshift studio, Jenna. This is Studio Q, I believe.
I don't even know what studio it is, but it is a makeshift. We're undergoing some construction, but it's all good as long as we got the
Super
equipment.
producer Matt has really done a great job putting this together. He and Brianna are going to be working on a new location for us in the Gotham podcast family. So we'll be having some new digs, folks. So check us out soon. I think sometime in June.
Yes. Now we need to get to the action because, Jarod, like you said, it's the NBA playoffs and things are getting hot. Which round are we in, Jarod, for the viewers
We're
at home?
ending the first round, heading towards the conference semifinals right now.
That is right. Now let's start with our Western Conference here, okay? Let's talk about the game heard and watched around the world.
Woo!
On April 23rd. All I have to say is Damian Lillard, and we should probably just walk out, right?
Dame time.
Yep, exactly. It is Dame time, exactly. The Blazers defeat the Thunder 4-1.
Yep.
Okay, they advance onto the semis. The Thunder go home. Are we shocked? No.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Your big thing all season has been, but the Thunder do what the Thunder do, which is they find a way to not perform in the postseason.
Thank you. Who said that? That was me.
Jenna did say that all season. And it's interesting because Oklahoma City, I said it on this podcast. We did our crossover pod with Ain't Hard to Tell last week.
Yes, go listen to them. They're
when
good.
the playoff matchups came out, I said, wow, Oklahoma City could sleepwalk its way into the Western Conference Finals.
Yes, you did.
Those
were real words said by yours truly over there.
I did. Little did I know that, well, one, Paul George, even though he had a great game last night, was just not himself this postseason. Clearly still hurt.
Yep.
And, you know, I hate to be someone to pile on Russ, but Russ gone Russ and do Russ things.
Russ gone rogue. Russ gone Russ.
And you know, while I don't think he was the sole reason they lost last night, because he played pretty well. And you could actually see when you watch the game what intellectually the kind of game he was trying to play. It's just that late in the game, when possessions matter, the Thunder couldn't execute. Paul George missed 2 free throws.
Yep.
Russ misses the layup entirely, falls to the ground. They get a 5-on-4 the other way.
And that's what we talk about when we say it's a make or miss league. You can't be missing easy free throws, easy layups. Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah.
And we know OKC doesn't have shooting the way it is.
But
so
here's the crazy thing, right?
Layups.
So OKC's shooting is what we've always said is their Achilles heel.
Yes.
Last night, all their role players shot the ball well. Dennis Schroeder, Jerry and Grant, Ferguson. I mean,
they started off strong, ended weak, but they did have a 15-point lead in the fourth.
15 points with about 7 minutes and change left. Yeah, they definitely blew it. And again, this was down the stretch. Russ taking 20-foot long twos.
And we know Russ
you missed that shot. I mean, look, he was 11 of 31 from the field, which is not efficient at all. He didn't go to the free throw line enough. I mean, again, as I said, I kill Russ as much as anybody in terms of when it comes time to winning basketball in the playoffs, when you need efficiency and not turning the ball over, there are problems there.
Yeah.
And when defenses know, here's how we're going to stop Russ. We're going to make you shoot the ball to beat us. If you hit all your shots, cool, we'll live with that. But we're going to play the odds and say you're probably not going to hit your jumpers.
Exactly.
And the numbers have said it now for the last 4 postseasons, really.
Yeah.
He does not shoot the ball well.
Well, and like you said, too, when Paul George isn't 100%, you're not going to get anywhere with that. You're not going to win that game.
Right.
And when Russ is taking 30-foot jumpers and not making it, because that's what he does, it's not going to work either. The turnovers hurt them. The missed free throws, the easy layups hurt them. Not to mention, Dame dropped 50.
I mean,
when Dame drops 50, what are you going to do?
You have no choice. Look.
7 boards, 6 assists.
Dame came out from opening tip last night, and you saw it. He had that look in his eyes, and that look that said, we're not losing this game tonight.
Well, before the game, he said, quote unquote, we're going to knock these mother effers out. All right, let's go do it.
I mean, he did not sit the entire first half. He played all 24 minutes.
And he knew he was going to play. Like, that was planned.
And Coach Terry Stotts left him in. And really, to start the game, Dame was the only one who was really playing well for Portland. Yes. CJ got an early foul trouble, 3 fouls in the first quarter. Yep. They were kind of out of rhythm. Dame kept them in it.
He saved and won that game for them all
without question. And, you know, again, OKC up 15 in the fourth with about 7 and change to go. That's when the wheels start coming off. Turnover.
Yep.
Offensive foul call. Russ missed shot. Russ dives in for a layup. Misses the layup. Yep. Thinks he gets fouled. The ref doesn't call it. But instead of getting back up and hustling back down the other end, Russ is still on the ground yelling about the foul call.
Yeah.
Well, now you got a 5-on-4 the other way.
Exactly.
Easy bucket. But it's not one thing. It's cumulative things, right?
Yeah.
And you do that, then this, then this. And then the Portland crowd gets into it. And then Portland's down 2 at this point, and there's under a minute left. Dame goes beeline straight to the bucket for the layup to get the 2 for 1, because his thing is like, okay, I'm gonna score here. Oklahoma City gets the ball back. Whether they score or not, we'll have the ball with the last chance to win it. OKC does not score. Paul George turns the ball over. Gets it stolen by Seth Curry. They get Seth Curry. They get it over to Dame, and I mean.
It's lights out.
Listen.
It's lights out.
Dame has Paul George on him. Paul George is an all-NBA first-team level defender. And it's funny because I know you want to talk about this. What did Paul George say, Jenna, after the game when Dame hit his shot?
Well, first of all, Dame comes out, hits a 37-foot three-pointer.
37-foot three.
Step
back to the right. Yeah.
Yes, on the move. Knocks down the shot. Portland goes wild. And the dog pile happened. The famous now photo of Dame just staring at the camera, and then in the post.
Well, after he hits it, he waves bye-bye to Russ.
He did bye, Grandma. See ya. It wasn't now, we have to break down waves really quick. It wasn't like the, bye, like the royal wave.
It was
It wasn't the little shake. It wasn't the Michael Jordan. It was the bye, Graham. That was the petty wave. That's what we call a petty wave.
Listen, man.
That's a petty wave. Now,
By the way, Russ in many ways started all this, right? Because during the regular season games, Russ said to Damian Lillard, and I quote, "I've been busting your ass for years."
Yes, he did say that, and things have been chippy.
I was gonna say, I don't know that Russ can say that anymore. Not really sure you've been busting Dame's ass for years.
Don't worry, the wave said enough. The wave said enough. And the stare at that camera, that photo, is going to be in OKC's mind. Now, let's skip to the post game. Paul George says, basically, hands down, it was a bad shot. Now, I want to have this conversation with you because there's a lot of people on either side of the fence. There's no in between.
Right.
And I can understand both sides because say Dame doesn't make the shot, Portland loses the game.
Right.
Now, Dame becomes the one to blame.
Right.
He missed the shot. That was a bad shot. Why'd he take it on the move? This and that. Because if you see it in the air, his body was sideways. That was a really hard shot. Now, I see the other side too when people say it wasn't a bad shot. He took it. He took the risk. He was confident in the moment. He felt clutch. And he was clutch.
Right.
What are your thoughts on
this? It's interesting, right? Because I think we need to sort of redefine what is a good shot and what is a bad shot, right? Okay. First of all, again, we have to keep in mind score of the game, time left on the clock, and the situation, right? Let's say Dame misses the shot. Because his goal was, I'm going to take the last shot. Make or miss, this is either going to end the game and we win it, or it's going to end regulation, and worst case, we go into overtime. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, had they gone into overtime, Russ had 5 fouls, Paul George had 5 fouls. Which means,
risky business.
Risky business. So either one of them or both could foul out, right? So I had no problem with Dame taking the shot. Here's something I'm going to bring up, little stats, because I love my stats.
Basketball reference.
According to, this is actually a second spectrum stat, not even basketball reference.
Oh, jeez.
Now, so Lillard is very lethal from that range.
Oh, yeah.
He's 8 of 12 for the year from beyond 30 feet. In the postseason. 8 for 12 for the postseason.
That's a nice number for the postseason.
Anything further away from the rim than 30 feet, he's made 8 of 12 shots. Jenna, that is, 70%? I mean, so yeah, for anybody else, by the way, you know what the stats are for everybody else in the playoffs taking shots on more than 30 feet? Combined? 6 of 38.
Oh.
So Dame is 8 of 12. Everyone else 6 of 38. So, okay, Paul George.
His own league.
So, Paul George, in a sense, you're right. That's a bad shot for just about everybody else.
I like the way you broke that down. Right. For just about everybody else.
Not for Dame, though.
Nope.
8 of 12 from beyond 30. Probably not for Steph Curry either, right? I was having a conversation with a couple of the guys in the chat, and, Jamal was asking me, he's like, you think that was a good shot? I go, we have to redefine what's a good shot. I was like, if it was Russ, that would be a terrible shot. But it's Dame. Dame, right. Steph, KD. There are a couple of guys. Clay. Not even Clay, because for Clay,
people would argue it though.
For Clay, someone would have to get him the ball that way. Remember, Dame created that shot himself. Dribble out, step back, and pull up. Right. Again, 2 or 3 guys at max. I'm like, okay, that's not a bad shot for you. Everybody else, horrible shot.
Yeah.
But again, even not as horrible as everyone makes it out to be, because if you miss and the clock ends, you go to overtime. And again, you're at home, Russ has got 5 fouls, Paul George has got 5 fouls, and you clearly had the momentum in your favor because you stormed all the way back. So I don't see it as a bad shot. I see it as Dame just being calculated, knew what he wants to do. And look, folks, Dame clearly works on these shots in practice. There's a famous... we do NBA here, but there's a famous college clip that went around. And that was last season where Patrick Ewing, head coach at Georgetown, was yelling at one of his players because he took an ill-advised shot. And he said, and you can see him in the huddle going, do you work on that shot in practice? Do you work on that shot in practice? Why would you take it in the game, right? To that effect. So the idea being like, you should never do anything in a game you've never worked on it. Clearly, that is something Dave, because you could look at the way in which he did it, the confidence, right? He's like, oh, Paul's laying off. He's like, I'm going to shoot this.
Yeah.
I'm going to dribble up because and I'm going to watch the clock to make sure when the shot releases, there's going to be 0 time. So if it goes in, we win. Again, miss. It doesn't matter about the rebound. None of that stuff. We're either going to overtime if it misses. Paul realizes, wait, Dave's going to take this shot. So then Paul contests, and a pretty decent contest. But again,
it was.
That's a shot Dave practices all the time.
Yeah. And
nothing but net.
Going off of that, too, I'm a real big post-game nerd. I love the interviews.
Yeah, sure.
I love everything.
Want to hear what these guys are saying?
So I was watching everything happen because, like I told you, I fell asleep right before everything happened. And I woke up to a million different notifications.
Listen, all of you who are on the West Coast or wherever, it's hard for us East Coast to stay up for these late games.
Especially during the playoffs when it's one night after the other. Like tonight, we got to go home and watch the Warriors.
Exactly, and Clippers.
Yeah. So, anyway... I was watching everything, and Dame was talking in the post game, and he said, like you said, I watched the clock, I went up, and I saw the rim, and I was like, yeah, this is possible. I'm going to do this. This feels like a good shot. Number 1, confidence right there.
Absolutely.
Number 2, he says with his trainer in practice a couple days before that leading up to the game, he was practicing these shots, and he said that the trainer looked at him and said, you're going to make one of these in the game. You're going to make one of these in the game. Just keep going. And the fact that not only was Dame preparing for the moment, but he was confident enough to take that clutch moment and deliver right off the cuff.
Absolutely.
He almost made it seem effortless. And it's interesting, too, because that is the type of confidence that a clutch player needs. And like we always talk about, not a lot of people in the NBA are that clutch person. No. I think I can name a few on one hand.
Right.
About it.
Well, it's interesting, too, because we have to think about this Portland Trailblazers team, right? It was swept out of the playoffs the last couple of seasons, right?
And so, that hurt. It stung.
It did. And
they didn't let it get to them.
You can tell that Dame...
They got a chip on their shoulder.
Not only a chip, but Dame, as the NBA players love to say, went into the lab this summer, right? And really started refining his game and adding some things. And he is a deadly off the pick and roll. It's brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Look, it's a small list. We're going to get to it in a minute, but he's up there now. Like, when you talk about the elites of this game, we did our All-NBA selections last week. Dame's second team for me. I had a lot of people saying, oh man, do you move Dame to first team now? And it's like, okay, and my thing is always like, well, who are you taking off? Steph or Harden? Right? Because that's your choice.
Hey.
You got to take one. If you want, and I'm not saying you can't move him to the first team, but if you are, who are you taking off?
Exactly.
And remember, All-NBA is not about the postseason. All-NBA is what you've done all regular season long, right?
Yes.
So, And listen, Dame's on my second team All NBA. I mean, he's legit, man.
I interviewed him last year, and I remember one of my questions was, and I was a little nervous how to word it, because basically I wanted to say, you know, Dame, I'm a fan.
Right.
I know what you can do.
Right,
but what do you think about these people that are sleeping on you right now? Because you have to admit, Dame is slept on. Because he's in a pool of talent.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? I was thinking about that today. Not for people like us. For NBA heads, they know who Dame is. For the casual fan, they don't. And it's mainly because I feel like he plays in Portland, number one. They don't get a ton of national TV games. Yeah. Right? So last night was a lot of casual fans were able to stay awake.
He's not out there. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, he's not covering GQ.
No, but listen, Dame's that dude. In case anybody didn't know, Dame is that dude.
He is that dude. And in the short, he said, basically that in a nutshell. I don't, I play the game. I love the game. I don't go looking for anything.
No.
I'm quiet because I don't need to be loud. My game speaks for itself, and that's it. Literally dropped the mic. I was like, damn, I got what I need here, bro.
Listen, again, and this is not a pile on Russ thing, right? But Russ is sort of the one who's always like loud and demonstrative and like, I've been busting your ass for years. Like, Dame's like, all right, cool.
Sounds good.
That sounds good, bro.
Let me do this step out really quick. Let me dance on
it. Let me drop 50, hit that game winner to end the series and send you home.
Be right back.
Peace.
See ya.
See ya.
Too funny. Couldn't have asked for a better ending to that series.
No, it was great. Oh, wow.
I'm happy with it.
By the way, because we like to keep it real here on this pod, 54 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Rockets up 1 on the Utah Jazz.
I almost threw up.
Oh, my God. What are the Rockets doing right now?
Yikes.
They are fooling around.
They are fooling around.
Harden not shooting it well tonight, 10 of 26.
He hasn't been as much in the postseason.
Listen, it's, that's always been the knock on him, right? Like,
he's got to turn it on.
Can he bring it in the postseason? And that has not, the shooting has not happened. Now, granted, look, they're winning this series, but, we'll see what happens this game. Anyway, I know we have some more to get to around Dame and the Blazers.
Let's do it. Now, let's talk about the big picture here. Mm-hmm. Not so much the series as much here. The Thunder. I feel like you said before that I predicted this outcome. It happened. Mm-hmm. And where do we go from here for the Thunder? Where do we go? It seems like there is always a wall up and we just can't get past it. And it's that same first round wall.
So I'm going to say this.
Where do we go from here? What is up with Russ?
And I'm going to say it's kind of a lazy narrative. Rockets up 3.
Probably team match.
Russ obviously is part of the problem that they have. Right? He is the solution and the problem at the same time, right? And that's sort of the challenge with him.
Good way to put it.
And again, I think what I'm going to say now, this is a lazy narrative, so I don't put too much stock in it, but there's something to be said about it. Since Kevin Durant left this team, they have not gotten out of the first round of the playoffs. Sure, Russ has won an MVP.
And just to give everybody a little bit of a timetable, when did KD leave?
2016, end of the 2016-2017 season. Yeah. So again, that was year 1 in Golden State. They won the chip. Russ won the MVP that year. Last year they won the chip again. OKC did not get out of the first round again, and this year OKC again. And part of the problem is they don't have shooting, right? Because
defensive team.
Yeah, in the playoffs, when the lanes constrict and when it's harder for Russ to get to the rim, there isn't enough spacing on the floor because there aren't enough shooting. There's not enough shooting around. And look, and part of that's got to go on Sam Presti. You're the GM. I think Sam Presti's a good GM, a great GM, in fact, but you don't have enough shooting on that team. Paul George is an MVP level candidate, but let's be honest. Paul George fell off right around February, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while. Now, a large part of that's the injury, so I don't want to but look, it is what it is. Has not been performing to the level he was when everybody's calling him an MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing about an MVP candidate. And again, it's not about piling on Paul George. To be an MVP, it can't be, I play like an MVP for a month and a half. Mm-hmm. It's got to be, I do this from start to finish.
Exactly. And some people have that misconstrued because they live in certain moments.
They live in the moment. But that's part of basketball culture and part of just the culture of the world we live in now. Everything's about, ooh, this moment. And it's like...
Yeah, or what's trending or what's on right now.
And it's all year. And I say this all the time. What separates the truly great elites is consistency. They do it all the time. That's what makes LeBron James so good. That's what makes Kevin Durant so good. Like, again, you look at these guys, and I said it on the podcast last week. You know, everybody's like, oh, KD's not even a top 7 MVP candidate. I go, yeah, but if you look at his numbers, like, he's a metronome. It's, you know what you're getting.
Even on a slow day, it's a good day.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
That is, elite players do that every night, right? Anybody can have a hot month and a half.
Of course.
I mean, can you do it year over year for a full season? And that's it's hard. That's why there's only so many guys who are that good. Now, Russ, so I said Presti. I said Russ needs to change his game a little bit. They need more shooting, coaching-wise. And here's the thing. I don't think Billy Donovan did a bad job. I thought, look, again, they were up 15 with 7 minutes and change to go in the fourth quarter. So they were clearly in. And again, as we said, Russ, you can see how he played the game. I can't put it all on him in that game because he was doing the right thing, passing. The problem was, as the game got tight, and I said this to you, what is Russ going to do? Is he going to still continue to play that way, or is he going to do what Russ does, which is I'm going to shoot, I'm going to go, I'm going to Russ going Russ. And yeah, Russ is, and unfortunately, that is not winning basketball. Because he's not a good shooter. Because you're not always going to get the foul call. Because he'll turn the ball over sometimes. And again, when possessions matter, and that's the thing about the playoffs that people don't seem to realize. It's little things that I said, right? Paul George, 2 missed free throws. He gets the ball stripped from him by Seth Curry. Russ goes into the layup, misses everything. Waiting for the foul call. No foul. Instead of getting back up and sprinting back, 5-on-4. Those are four things. But those 4 little things, well, this is what changes the game, right? Because again, what happens basically, you got empty possessions.
So what are we doing from here? Where do we go for the Thunder?
Look, this may just be what the Thunder is.
Well, then that's a problem. And we have a ceiling and we're hitting it, and
by the way,
a problem.
Even with Russ and PG this year, they didn't win 50 games.
No. It's like you're supposed to be this dynamic duo, and don't get me wrong, PG was playing MVP ball for a minute, so was Russ. He was having triple-doubles like crazy.
They were killing it defensively.
But the cohesiveness isn't there, I guess. Can you both have stellar games on the same night and keep it consistent?
What it is it's the execution down the stretch. And for whatever reason, Paul and Russ
take the W.
I saw that. Paul and Russ could not execute down the stretch. Again, Paul George, 2 missed free throws.
Unacceptable.
Gets the ball taken by Seth. I mean, I always say this, the margins in this league are so thin, especially in the playoffs. So it's going to look like, oh man, OKC got ran over, they got beat 4-1, gentleman's sweep. Yes, they did, but look at that game last night. They had it in their hands.
Oh, yeah.
They just, again.
And that's the worst part about it when you lose like that.
You do a couple bad things, and your possessions are off, and there you go. And so the OKC may be a team destined to win between 46 and 49 games every year, make the playoffs, and we'll see what happens.
We shall see. Now, let's move on to this question, because we're talking about Dame and where not just last night's performance
but overall
takes him, but overall, where does he rank among the NBA's top point guards?
Woo!
Because we said it is a deep pool
it is.
Of talent.
It is.
And people sleep on Dame because when you're in the Lions' Den with Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, it's really easy to get overshadowed. But we need to really discuss where Dame ranks.
So it's interesting because, I mean, are we calling Harden a point guard? Or is he a lead guard? It's lead guard.
See, it depends who you're talking to.
Okay, I want to say Harden's a lead guard, sure, a point guard. It's so tough.
Okay.
Look, it's a short list. To me, it's Steph, it's Harden, it's Dame, and then it's Kyrie. To me, Look, and I know, obviously, I want your reaction because, you love Kyrie. Here's the thing I will say about Kyrie that Dame has yet to do. Kyrie has done it on the biggest stage, right? In the NBA Finals. Hit the biggest shot in the NBA Finals. Now, to be fair, Kyrie has not done it without LeBron James, to be fair. So, this postseason, and off to a good start, sweat the Pacers. We'll get to the Eastern Conference a little bit later. Kyrie has to prove it as well. Can I do it as the lead guy now?
Yes.
I have no doubt that he can, but, he's got to prove it too.
The first round is like, let's ease our way
And it's also the
through
Pacers who,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they are, no Victor, no.
Yeah, I mean, that was unfortunate. We knew how this one was going to
Exactly.
end.
But listen, again, so all NBA, there's 6 guards, right? I have Steph Harden on my first team. I have Kyrie and Dame on my second team. So clearly, I have Kyrie and Dame in that second grouping. So, I mean, that is the next. So if the tier is Steph Harden as tier 1, tier 1A or tier 2, however you want to do it, the next, it's Dame and Kyrie.
See, the thing that separates Steph from everybody else, because obviously Steph is number 1.
Right.
He has shooting. He has defense. He's an all-around player. He has handles, obviously.
For sure.
Harden doesn't have all of those components.
Well, see, here's where I think Harden's an excellent shooter. Obviously, Steph's the best shooter ever, but Harden's an excellent shooter.
Consistency?
Harden's got to do it in the playoffs, right? I mean...
Where it matters.
I mean, let's be fair, too. I mean, Steph's got to kind of do it in the playoffs, too. I mean, he's got the rings, but, I mean...
True.
I'm just
Best
saying.
handles in the NBA, I'm saying Kyrie.
Oh, that's not even... I mean, it's Kyrie hands... Listen, Steph's got good handles, but he ain't in Kyrie's class. Kyrie is the best by far.
Best finisher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, and it's his handles that allow him to finish that way, because I always say, Kyrie can shake somebody guarding him in a phone booth, right? That's how good his handles are. Like, he's excellent. No doubt about it.
Most clutch out of the point guards?
I mean,
choose wisely after last night.
Well, you have to look at all the stats. I mean, I have to pull up the stats on Second Spectrum, which we don't have time for now. But I mean, look, I would say this: if any one of the 4 of them is taking a late shot for me, I feel pretty good about my chances, right? Like I'm not worried. If any one of those 4 guys is taking a late shot for me, I feel pretty good.
Very true. Now let's move on here to the Rockets and the Jazz.
Yeah.
Update us on the latest happenings here, Jarod.
Well, the Rockets actually just won tonight, 193, taking care of the Utah Jazz. So that's 4 games to 1. They are moving on to the next round.
And the Jazz are officially out. Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz. Goodbye.
The tough part for Utah is, of course...
What was Utah's problem? Why didn't they win this series?
Well, they're not as good as Houston, number 1, obviously.
But what was the key thing that could have helped them prevail?
Who is their second scorer after Donovan Mitchell?
Jay Crowder?
Thank you. I mean, Royce O'Neal. I mean, look, who is their other guy? We know to win in this league, the teams that win in the playoffs have more than one guy who can go out and get their own bucket, right? That's how you top end talent. Listen, Rudy Gobert is excellent. Made my all NBA third team center. He made me all defensive team. You have to get the ball to Rudy and Rudy doesn't create it on his own.
You gotta help him.
That's
out.
not his. That's not his game.
Yeah.
So great defensively, but who besides Donovan Mitchell is getting you points? And Donovan's a volume scorer, right?
He has to play on 100 every single
night. He does.
Night.
I'm pulling up his stats from tonight.
Because he wasn't so good in Game 3.
Jenna.
Huh.
4 of 22 tonight was Donovan Mitchell. 12 points.
And that's why Donovan Mitchell isn't moving on. I hate to say that, but the consistency in the playoffs like this, he's just getting his feet wet too, though.
4 of 22, 0 of 9 from 3.
Alrighty.
Listen, everyone's shooting percentages typically dip in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because tighter defense, taking away all that stuff.
It's a different game.
But 4 of 22, ouch.
Yeah.
Granted, he's a second-year player, so
he's
getting
his feet wet in the playoffs, and he's leading a team. As a young player, he's leading this team.
Utah needs help.
They do.
And
I mean, they're not at the bottom of the food chain, but...
No, but if they're going to, again, if they're going to be more than a team that wins 40-something games every year, and make the playoffs, they need another guy. Mm-hmm. And look, Utah isn't exactly a free agent destination, so they're gonna have to draft and develop.
But you know what? Aside from that point,
right?
What I do think will attract people obviously is Donovan Mitchell.
Sure.
But aside from that and the prettiness of all that, the culture in Utah is nice. The team camaraderie and the culture there.
Quinn Snyder's an excellent coach. Listen, they have a lot going for it.
A lot of good things about that front office.
But, listen, they also have some things going on with their fan base, and we talked about that.
I wasn't even talking about that.
But I'm saying with that, listen.
No, I know.
When players think about where to go, they're going to be like, I don't know about that Utah.
Yeah, I mean, what I was saying is I like the team. I like the support. They're hungry. They remind me a little bit of the Nets.
Yeah.
The team. They really do. They're fighters. But anyway, let's move on because we can't be talking about them. They're out. They're out. We need to talk about what's in. Warriors leading the Clippers. They're playing tonight, April 24th. They're leading the series 3-1. Game 5 tonight.
Yeah, they wrapped that up. They wrapped that up tonight. They should win double digits pretty comfortably.
Wrapping it.
Setting up what we all want. The Rockets, Warriors.
No. Don't even do it yet. We're only going to the semis. But
that's who they play next. They would play next, yes.
So, is it inevitable?
It certainly is. Look, the Warriors are going to kill it tonight, take care of the Clippers, and we're going to have Warriors-Rockets Part 2. It's a shame that it's going to be...
I've been waiting for this.
Well, it's a shame that it's going to be in the conference semis and not in the conference finals. That's just how the seeding works out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get a nice taste, though.
Listen, it's probably a 7-game series. Here's what's interesting. The Rockets are not as good as they were last year.
You don't think?
They're not. But the Warriors also, look, they fool around. They
play with fire a lot.
As we clearly see. And if you fool around with this Rockets team, these ain't the Clippers. Yeah, these ain't the Clippers.
No.
Right? Like, the Rockets are more... And look, again, we saw what happened last year. The Rockets more than capable of coming into Oracle and winning a game there.
Absolutely.
This series went to 7 last year, and the Rockets held the lead in Game 6 and in Game 7 in the fourth quarters.
That matchup, Rockets-Warriors, is, in my opinion, one of the most unpredictable.
It really is.
You don't know who's going to show up that night.
Yeah.
You don't know if the Warriors are going to, play around, play with fire, lose a game, just make a sweat, and then come back. And then you got the Rockets who, 0 for 27. We just don't know.
What if, because you're sort of statistical variance, right? So what if the Rockets, because they shot okay in the Utah series, but not great. What if they get on a hot streak and, they hit like 48% of their threes in this series? They do that, guess what? They're winning.
Exactly. And this team, I don't like to kind of play this card, but come on, Rockets. Been there, done that. You have been here.
They have.
Let's do it now.
They have. Look.
Let's do it. You've been here. You're reliving this. Just change the outcome.
As we know.
I would love to see them win. I really would.
As we know, the hangover from last year it hit them hard, right? Because they had it, and they started the season rough. James Harden picked this game up. Everybody else kind of followed him along. He ran on that tear, and he brought them all the way back. I am a firm believer that they're going to push the Warriors. It's going to be a 7-game series again.
They want it bad.
They want it bad. Here is where, again, and this is what makes the Warriors so great. This is what some people say makes them unfair, but it just is what it is. When push comes to shove, who's stopping Kevin Durant?
Here we go.
No, but I'm just saying, but who is?
Listen, we always talk about this. It's not a matter of who's going to stop him.
Right.
It's how we're going to slow it down. I feel like this is tattooed on our foreheads. It's how we're going to slow Kevin Durant down. Not to mention, he's Kevin Durant, but also no one's human. It's just going to take one bad game.
I'm Kevin Durant.
Just one bad game.
Jenna, you know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
My skin is crawling.
But wait, but after he said that, what did he do? Next 2 games. I'm just saying. See, here's what I find so interesting about Kevin. I feel like he often has to do these things to remind often people like you who take him for granted, who were like, oh, Kevin, whatever. And then you're like, damn, that man is good at basketball.
I don't take him for granted. I think he's one of the best to ever do it. I just, to each his own. That's all I'm saying. We're wrapping it up because we have to talk about
we got to make our predictions. for that series.
Oh yeah, you're right. What's your prediction?
Warriors in 7.
You know what? I'm gonna say Rockets in 7.
Nice. I like a little contrarian there. I like that. I like
Rockets in 7. I'm gonna do it. I got my
All right.
boys. Okay?
Listen, you know I love me some James Harden, so
That's right. Exactly. I wouldn't be mad with either. Actually, yes, I would.
You'd be very mad with the Warriors won.
Yeah,
you want the Rockets to win. Listen, if the Rockets won, that'd be a great story.
Oh, so good, so good. Chris Paul needs one. Just give him one ring.
What this is showing you though. It's hard to win championships in this league.
Oh my gosh.
People think, oh yeah, you just.
But then people think it's easy because they look at LeBron James. He has how many rings? Dwayne Wade and everybody. But it's not easy.
Not easy at all.
Not easy.
Quite difficult actually.
Very absolutely.
quite difficult.
It's something I will never do. So let's talk about the Nuggets and the Spurs because they're up.
3 games
leading,
to
3-2. Now I'm sorry, if you were to walk down the street, I don't care if people are basketball fans or not, and you'd say, yo, the Nuggets are leading the Spurs, people would be like, huh? Who?
The Nuggets?
Where? The Nuggets are in the playoffs?
I'll admit
Why are people sleeping?
I'll admit it. I said Spurs in 6. That was my prediction.
We may eat our words here.
We were non-believers in the Nuggets. We were like, look, I love Jokic, but Jamal Murray up and down, Gary Harris, Barton. I was like, well.
And this is without Michael Porter Jr. Not that they played with him,
but
this is without one of their guys that they were going to rely on. This is without IT.
Yeah, listen.
Hey,
they're playing better. Let's put it this way. They figured some things out in this series. Mike Malone, the Denver Nuggets head coach, they also are not overawed by the moment.
No.
They seem to be handling it well.
They are.
blew San Antonio out last night. It'll be interesting to see Game 6 because, as you know, the closeout game is the hardest game. So they're up 3-2.
Oh, yeah.
So they could close this out in Game 6. Game 6 is on the road in San Antonio. Are they able to close it out there? And if they don't...
Are they able to close it out against Pop?
Well, that's the thing.
Against Pop.
And if they don't, and the series is tied 3-3, and they go back home to Denver for Game 7, yes, you're playing at home, but you're the higher seed. The pressure's on you.
Exactly.
To win, right?
Exactly.
How do these young playoff neophytes handle it? I was like, again, so far so good. Look, it's going to take an excellent Jamal Murray game, right? Jamal Murray's kind of the bellwether for them.
Oh, he has to be
and he's got to be on. But he's had he's been up and down this series, so we shall see.
We shall see. Now, let's move on to the Eastern Conference because it's my favorite. Now, for real. 76ers defeat the Nets 4-1. Were you shocked?
No, because I picked Sixers in 5, so this went
I wasn't shocked either, but the inconsistency of the Sixers is what scares me.
Well,
moving forward.
This is a very interesting playoff series. As you know, I was at Game 3, covering Game 3 and Game 4 in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that atmosphere was intense and chippy, boy.
How fun. They need the Nets needed that. Brooklyn needed that.
They did.
Now let's move forward.
They did. Look, Brooklyn's that kind of team that they're hitting threes. They cause a lot of problems. Karis LeVert showed that he's ready to play on the big stage.
Yeah.
Philly's just better. They have more top-end talent. Yeah. I mean, Joel Embiid is an absolute monster. The Nets have no one who can guard him, and that's what showed, right? And the Philly won the game. He didn't even play.
Exactly. I was going to say, his play's been a little bit risky here and there with...
And Jared Dudley of the Nets, who I love, it was great.
Well, Ram.
No, but what he did was perfect, because his purpose was to let his teammates know. Again, you ask any NBA player, what's the difference between regular season and playoffs? They'll say intensity. And again, remember, the rest of his teammates, they'd never been in the playoffs before. Mm-hmm. Jared Dudley had. So he was trying to teach them, no, guys, you got to level up here and get your Sierra on, right? and bring that intensity level up, which is why he said what he said. And, when Joel pushed Jared, he came out and, listen, he's letting them know, you can't let these guys come here and just punk us and do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Because it's
Good
like
takeaway.
It's like when the sharks smell blood in the water. They're gonna go in for the kill, right?
Yes.
Like, you have to, even if you're gonna lose, you have to man up and stand up to them and not let them punk you.
Very true.
And with the whole like Embiid and Simmons laughing at Jared Allen, the press, all that jazz. And it's funny because after Game 3, when Dudley got ejected, and I said Game 4, and I said and in the post game, I asked Jimmy, I was like, well, Jimmy, were you surprised with how Jared, came in and approached the game? And Joel was up there with him, and Joel goes, nah, because we knew it was coming. He's like, yeah, we knew. It was funny. I'm like, well, Joel, I didn't ask you. I asked Jimmy, but okay, fine. But like they they kind of knew this was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But again, Dudley was the only one on the Nets who was sort of like doing that. And in that game, you saw it. He was bumping Ben Simmons every chance he got. Again, showing them you ain't pushing us around.
Exactly.
And that's important.
It is.
A big part of playoffs is the physicality and letting the other team know, yo man, we're not gonna quit because the
physicality leads to the mental aspect. When you feel good mentally,
exactly.
you feel tough physically.
And if they know
works out.
they can get to you and get under your skin and mess you up, well then, with the game's won, right? So it's about that mental edge.
It's over.
But Philly, for me, look, that top end talent was too much for Brooklyn to handle. They won, and I'm a little concerned about them going forward, only from the standpoint of Embiid's going to be dealing with the tendonitis all the way through. That's going to be an issue.
I'm completely worried about them.
And
they're not consistent. Ben hasn't shot, and Embiid is dealing with injury.
And they are. We'll discuss them in a minute, but they're playing a team in the Toronto Raptors who, look, man, the way Toronto can play defense.
I don't want to mess with them.
Listen, Toronto. Yes, we know that Philly's got Embiid and Simmons and Butler and Tobias Harris and JJ. Yeah, might be one of the best starting fives in the league. Listen, man, between Pascal Siakam, Kawhi Leonard, Marc Gasol, Kyle Lowry. Listen,
it's tough. It's going to be a good series. It's going to be real.
They're ready to roll. I'll put it like that.
Yeah,
they're ready to roll.
They're ready to roll, and let's roll through this one too. Raptors defeat the Magic 4-1.
Oh man,
we saw this one coming.
I mean,
that's it.
Orlando was lucky, won one game. Raptors, Raptors reeled off 4 in a row.
Nice, they got one out of them.
There's a reason why the Raptors were the number 2 seed and the Magic were number 7.
Exactly.
I mean,
so there's not really much to talk about.
It is what it is.
So let's talk about this really quick. 76ers Raptors. Who do you got?
Raptors in 6.
Same.
Same. Philly's excellent.
I think Philly's going to push them, but it's not going to be enough.
Philly will push them. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it went 7, but listen, first of all, I have Toronto coming out of the East and going to the NBA Finals, so I have to pick them to win this. But
nice.
Raptors, what they can do defensively between Kawhi, Pascal, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol. Look, Embiid gets to bully Jarod Allen. He can't bully Marc Gasol.
No, it's a very different matchup.
Right? Mark's just as big as he is, so
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good.
And all those antics that they like to do, that Philly likes to do, that worked against a neophyte team like the Nets, right? Mm-hmm. Young guys who've been there before. Marc Gasol, playoff veteran. Kawhi Leonard, playoff veteran. Danny Green, playoff veteran. I mean, Kyle Lowry, playoff veteran. You're not really Pascal, been in the play. I mean, you're not.
If the Raptors win this series, which I believe they will, I think a lot of it is what you just pointed out. It's going to be the playoff experience. When you have playoff experience as opposed to another team that doesn't really have a deep playoff experience like these guys do, it translates physically, mentally, everywhere. Even the pace of the game.
For sure.
It translates. Look, I think that's what's going to make the Raptors win this series.
Between Gasol, look what Gasol did to Vooch from Orlando. I mean, he pretty much made him non-existent, right?
Who?
Nikola Vucevic. Vooch.
I said who?
Oh, because you're like who? That guy still play basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you'll have Gasol to throw at Embiid. You'll have Ibaka to throw at Embiid. Listen, those are big dudes who aren't gonna.
No.
They're not gonna. Joel's gonna be able to muscle them around. Again, Ben Simmons and his non-shooting, you can throw Pascal on him if you want. You can throw Kawhi on him if you want, right? And whoever's not guarding him, the other one's on Jimmy. I mean, so look, and you got Fred VanVleet coming off the bench. Listen, Toronto can do a lot of different things,
and they're going to.
And I know everyone kind of clowned him because he scored 0 points that first game, but Kyle Lowry. But here's the thing now.
That doesn't mean he didn't perform.
Not only that.
That's what people don't realize.
In years past, fans. Kyle had to be the number 2 guy, right? DeMar and Kyle. Kyle doesn't have to be number 2 now. Kyle's like number 3 or number 4, which is a role, probably better suited for him now at this stage of his career. So it's kind of good.
Especially with injuries coming off of too. Yeah. I mean, I think he's in a good position to be effective.
Exactly. So we're not like, Kyle, we need you to score 25 points tonight.
No,
it's like we got Pascal, we got Kawhi, we got.
Yeah.
So this is going to be.
I feel good about the Raptors.
And I like Toronto a lot. They're an excellent team.
Me and you both. All right. Celtics sweep the Pacers. the Victor Oladipo-less Pacers, and the Bucks sweep the Pistons.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
I mean, my God.
But, you know.
Again, there's a reason why
Blake Griffin coming off a great season, though.
Not only that, how about the guts of Blake Griffin in Game 4? Basically playing on one leg.
Oh, yeah. The physicality of that game, good for Blake Griffin. I really do. And again, he's another guy that people are sleeping on.
Yeah.
He's a guy who had a great standout season, his best in a long time. So I think he's going to be in the lab cooking, and I wish him the best.
I mean, the Bucks are the number 1 seed for a reason, and the Pistons were number 8 for a reason.
And they have Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I mean, Jesus.
So there's that.
There's that.
Now, but we do have this good matchup now between the Celtics and the Bucks. That is going to be very, very interesting. But the Celtics have me worried for the same reason or reasons that the Sixers have me worried. The consistency is not there. It's Kyrie's first time, like we said, on the big stage, performing alone without LeBron. That could change his game.
Yeah.
So now we have Giannis Antetokounmpo coming off a great season. He's on a high. People are saying that he can take the Bucks all the way. So there's also that aspect. Who do you have for that series? I want to know.
This is tough. So obviously, you know, I have been, as some might want to say, a Celtics hater, which is not true.
I know. You've been a little critical of the Celtics for good reason.
Right. So.
And you've also been pro Giannis.
Here's where I will give the Celtics props.
Let's hear it.
Everyone knows I love to come at the genius Brad Stevens, the inventor of basketball.
Yes.
But.
Best coach of all time.
Right. He invented the game.
Yes.
I think Brad is an excellent coach. I just don't think he's the greatest of all time. But
we could just pause this and roll the tapes because I think we have this.
But I think he's excellent. That excellence will win the Celtics some games. He will scheme some things up and they will play well.
He knows what he's doing when it comes down to it, yeah.
Here's what I wonder about Boston. How much of the regular season's inconsistencies were who they actually are? And how much does that matter because playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball? Mm-hmm. There is that proverbial switch that people always talk about, flipping. Do the Celtics have that capability? Are they able to be like, okay, kumbaya, we just swept the Pacers, everything's all good, we gonna rock it, do what we gotta do?
Well, here's the mentality of the Celtics. We win one night. Oh, we won. Everything's great. We lose one night. We're destroyed forever. We have to go to counseling. We need months to recover. We don't know what the problem is. 17 people are speaking out in the media, and it's a disaster. So winning is good, and losing is bad for them.
I think here's what this series is going to come down to. Because I think Giannis is going to do his thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think Chris Middleton, for the most part, will do his thing. Mm-hmm. For Milwaukee, it's going to come down to the consistency of guys like Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon when he gets back, Nikola Mirotic off the bench, Brook Lopez. How effective can he be if Brad decides to scheme him out and put him in pick and roll and those kinds of situations? Yeah. For the Celtics, they're going to go, Kyrie's going to do Kyrie things.
The handles, the finishing, yeah.
He is what he is, and he's the person you're not worried about performing on this stage.
No.
Tatum performed last year, but can he do it again this year? Exactly. I don't know. We'll see.
He'll be
Jaylen Brown?
Card.
Maybe. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Their biggest X factor is obviously Gordon Hayward. Hayward's been playing well, and they've been closing games with that lineup with Hayward, Horford.
But can he be a consistent closer like the C's need him to be?
And then Al Horford might be actually the single most important player in the series in the sense that can he wall up and tall up on Giannis and not forcing the double team and get the wide open shooters?
Exactly.
I don't know.
And can he take it, say it goes 6-7 games, can Horford...
Can he hold up? Because while Al is an excellent playoff veteran, that man Giannis is good.
Oh, he's frightening.
And he's 24 years old.
It's just out of control.
He's 24 years old. So Giannis, if Giannis has got to go 48 minutes, he'll go 48.
Exactly. Right? You guys can see him on Hulu too.
Oh yeah. That's a freight train coming at you.
Oh, it's frightening.
And can you hold up for that over 7 games? I'm not saying Al can't.
Down in the post.
I'm just, and Giannis is so fit. He's gonna bang you. You're gonna.
He's not gonna care.
We shall see.
Yep.
Also, listen, Bud's got to prove it as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Bud has had teams that have been number 1 seed. That Atlanta Hawks team a couple years ago.
Yep.
And they didn't make it to the NBA Finals. So we shall see.
So
prediction,
who do you got again?
My prediction is Milwaukee has been the best team all season long. I can't imagine now in the playoffs all of a sudden they're gonna stink. Yeah. I don't see it. I'm gonna go Bucks in 6.
I'm going to go. I should be smart and pick the Bucks, but you know.
It's okay. Go with Kyrie. It's cool.
No, Kyrie is my man.
Listen, if the Celtics win, I'm not going to be shocked.
I'm going to go Celtics in 7. I think the Bucks would push it to 7 for sure.
Oh, without question. Well, they pushed it to 7 last year in the first round, and they weren't nearly as good as they are this year.
Exactly. So Celtics in 7. We should see. That one's going to be a good match.
That's going to be a series.
Let's move on here really quick. We got a few minutes left, and we need to discuss, again, the Los Angeles Lakers. The saga that is the Los Angeles Lakers.
God.
They're going to make a soap opera out of this team soon.
Bro, did you hear that? It's either Netflix or someone's doing a movie about them based on the book called Showtime they read about the 80s Lakers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
that's going to be really good.
Yeah, it'll be very good.
But don't worry, in about 20 years we'll see that what the cameras are catching now with LeBron James.
About this team.
Yeah. Now, let's get into this here because LeBron James comes out today on Instagram. Did you see that? There was a headline he posted on Instagram where it was like LeBron is feuding with, the Lakers front office. It was by Dave McMenamin too. I'm surprised he did that.
Oh.
He posted the thing in a video on TV and he was like, this is not true. I'm in the Lakers facility right now. And then turned the camera and he actually was in the Lakers facility. But anyway, that's all part of the drama.
So LeBron's refuting McMenamin's reporting.
Yes.
He's saying McMenamin's
he said it's not true. Yes, he said this is not true.
I mean, McMenamin's pretty well sourced.
I know. And plus, they have a good relationship, so I was surprised about that.
So something's up, but anyway.
Something is up. But let's get into this because we have so much to talk about here. Now, as we know, Magic stepped down. Let's talk about Jeannie Buss. Nobody's talking about Jeannie Buss. Why? Why does it never fall on the owner?
Because we in the media, we like Jeannie. I mean, have I met Jeannie? I don't think, no, I've never met her personally. But from afar, thing I've read, and Jeannie seems like a very wonderful woman and seems very likable and all those things. But Jeannie's suffering from a problem, and that problem is Lakers exceptionalism. And it's this idea that, well, we're the Lakers, so we're just going to get people, and I only want Lakers people to run this organization. And it's like, no, Jeannie, you are in charge of a multi-billion-dollar business.
But who really is in charge?
She is. She is the owner, so she is in charge. What she needs to do is hire the smartest and the brightest basketball people, regardless of whether or not they have Laker ties or not. And that's where she's stumbling. She feels as though, and that's because her dad, the late Dr. Buss, his big thing was keep it in the family, always want Laker guys. That's all well and good for novels and stories and movies, but this is the real world.
If you want to win, you need to go with the best choice.
I think it is criminal that she did not even call David Griffin when he was to take over basketball operation. Didn't even call him.
Well, looks like they're sticking to their old ways.
And Griff is now in charge in New Orleans. And, I mean, I'm flabbergasted by that. And so now, we heard the other day, Rob Pelinka, who's still there, GM, and Kurt Rambis, former Laker player, met with Jason Kidd for several hours. Kurt Rambis, by the way, again, former Laker player in the 80s, also on Phil Jackson's staff as a coach. His wife, Linda Rambis, one of Jeannie's closest friends and part of her inner circle.
I love it.
And it's just, again, Jeannie, I understand. She wants loyalty and people that are loyal to her. I get all of that. However, what is your ultimate goal here? You want to restore the Lakers to prominence and glory and win titles. Not in this current iteration, you're not. And the rumblings are coming out that Magic is still kind of behind the scenes, sort of pulling strings and doing. This is dysfunction to the umpteenth degree.
Well, like you just said, word has it, this and that. The Lakers have been doing their business in the public eye all season. And where has it gotten them? Nowhere. So I don't know why they continue to think that this is a good idea.
Again,
I really don't.
It's Lakers exceptionalism, and it's this belief that we are the glamour franchise of the NBA. Listen, man, y'all used to be the glamour franchise of the NBA. You're not anymore.
That went down with Kobe.
It sure did. And even when they had Kobe, you didn't even handle that well because you gave him that terrible contract the last 2 years because you felt like this is what we owed him for his services. Okay, but by doing that, what you did was you stunted the development of your other younger players. And oh, by the way, D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, D'Lo in the playoffs now. Julius Randle playing better somewhere else.
Yeah, because we're talking about people pleasers in Los Angeles. It's Hollywood. It's what they do. They're people pleasers. Let me ask you this, because now we have the open coach position. Luke Walton is out. He's with the Sacramento Kings and dealing with his own issues of sexual assault allegations. But let's go back to the open position in Los Angeles. Now, we're seeing a couple names being thrown around. Like you mentioned, Jason Kidd, great coach. I think he's a great candidate. Ty Lue.
Right.
If Ty Lue reunites with LeBron James, I will actually float away in my own tears. Anyway, and Monty Williams.
Lead assistant coach for the Sixers.
Yes.
And former coach in New Orleans. Look, to be honest, if I'm any of those coaches, I don't know that I want this job, to be perfectly honest.
Well, you have to be ready for this job.
Well, because here's the other thing.
Because it's not a regular job.
Are we sure the Lakers are going to get free agents this summer?
No.
Okay.
We're not.
Okay. So if I'm a coach and I'm coming in, okay, I got LeBron, cool. I got Kuzma, I got Long, cool. Am I sure I'm getting a top-end free agent? And if I don't, then what? Do I want to be tied to a LeBron timetable for 3 years, which has to be accelerated and all that?
Yes.
And not only that, do I want to work for an organization who clearly has challenges within its front office system?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, there's so many factors that come down to this that we could do an entire podcast on, because a lot of people do want that big stage. A lot of people's goal probably is to coach LeBron James. I was a little shocked and not shocked that Ty Lue was in the running there, because he had problems with his heart last season.
Yeah.
And he even said himself, in other words than this, coaching LeBron James is not easy.
It's not.
It is not. So I was surprised he kind of wanted to take that on again. But then again, they do have a great relationship. They've won chips together. Maybe they could bring one to LA if that were to happen. Legacies would be thrown down. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and we shall see.
Listen, I don't want to spend a million years talking about the Lakers. It's a shame, because if done correctly, this could and should be one of the premier franchises in the NBA. I just look, I mean, you don't even who's head of basketball operations right now?
No one.
So you have GM Rob Pelinka, who, by the way, no one around the league likes to work with, the other GMs.
No,
right?
No.
And Kurt Rambis, who's what? Special advisor? Is he the new president of basketball?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Bad situation in LA.
Bad. But let's end on a good note and say thank you to everybody listening and
watching. Yeah, for sure.
It's an exciting time.
Playoffs, guys. Get ready. We'll be back.
Yes. Talk to you guys next week.
Later.